We're live,
Yeah,
pal.
we're live, pal. That was the...
Oh, we're live. Oh, well, hello all. We are here. We have no music intro because I don't know. That's what I was waiting for. You did it last time. Okay, so we're here to talk about Revolution, which was Sunday, which was an amazing fucking show. I'm probably gonna warn everyone. I'm very high on the show, like even higher than most people are. So,
All right, well, I think it's the best pay-per-view ever put on, so I don't know how you can
well,
be
I
higher than that.
I would go beyond that. So
You
I
would
think
go
it's
beyond
Whoa!
that.
I'm with Josh. So, like that's what I'm like. You know how we usually come on here, we go, we got to separate some of the bigger shows from the pay-per-views. Nah, this one crept in there, man. This I don't know if it's the best, but it's like Dream Slam one and shit like that. Like,
it's
in there, bro. It's in there. I ain't gonna lie.
The way I watching it and then thinking about it, I thought I was thinking about it last night, was for people that always wonder, like, of the 90s and, like, you know, All Japan gets all this love and New Japan, everyone are like, why does New Japan getting love? And I'm always like, well, if you go back and you watch, New Japan would put on these amazing shows. They'd have like some great matches, but the presentation and all of that would be like stellar, right? Then you'd have All Japan, and All Japan would, like, the presentation would kind of be there, but the like top two matches were always like out of this world insane. This was like a merge of those two things, in my opinion. You had the Ospreay match, which was otherworldly crazy. You had the Sting match, which was just a presentation that I think that is, when you talk about like spectacles, I think that is what you judge everything by now, is that Sting match, because that was such a spectacle. And then everything else on the show, like, I don't think there was anything bad on the whole show. I think even the bad stuff was just okay. So, but I think everything else was like either great or really, really good, and you never get that in a show. So that's my quick thoughts.
All right, who wants to go next?
You go next.
I mean, okay, all right. Me, Chase, and Brandon are extremely biased because we were there. But with that being said, though, I don't give a fuck. Like, that was the greatest American pay-per-view of all time, and I'm gonna go even further. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita is one of the 10 greatest matches ever on American pay-per-view. I don't even think it's like even that debatable. It's easily the greatest match I've ever seen live, and I was there when Taz's last night in ECW. I was there. Well, his last night as champion in ECW. I was there for bitch. But I've been around the block a bit. But I'm telling you, like, so amazing. The kick out at one, that feeling in that arena. I just wish there was a way I could be grabbed in that moment and held there in perpetuity, like Gearus from Mortal Kombat or something like that. Just stuck in that moment when fucking catch the kicked out of one.
Well, Brandon was sitting next to me. He can verify that I went nuts for that spot.
Bro,
we were both going nuts for it.
And from that moment, from that moment forward, the entire arena was standing. No, there was no one was sitting down. The last 2 minutes of that match, no one was sitting down. Yeah, man, Will Ospreay felt like the biggest star in all of wrestling when he came out, until about an hour later when Sting came out. but he felt like the biggest thing to maybe ever happen to that company. And straight up, Tony Khan, that is your guy. Like, that is your guy for 15, 20 years. Like, that is your guy. Do everything. Like, no disrespect to MJF, but that's your guy now, man. That should build the whole company around him. He's your John Cena. He's your Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's Will Ospreay, man. And yeah, I was upset that he was leaving New Japan, but like, if this is what's happening, and like more people get to see what we've all been seeing since 2018 now, like, yeah, man. Like, I don't want to just sit here and talk the whole time because it's all of us, but that's the greatest American pay-per-view of all time, and I think one of the top 5 greatest shows to ever happen. That's just me.
You see on Twitter, you see a lot of debate on. I'm kind of speaking a little bit outside of wrestling, so like in hip hop or even like music altogether, like people try to label things as classics, like right out of the gate, like right as it comes out. And I've never been that person to do that. Like things need to really sit with me for a while. And I think, when Chase, when he and I got back after the show, he had mentioned that this was better, like probably the best AEW pay-per-view, better than All Out 2021, which we were both at. We weren't sitting together, but we were both at that show. Josh was there as well. And I really had to think, I'm like, man, is it really on that level? And just kind of going back and looking at the significance of this show along with the card compared to that one, even though that one was very significant and had a really good card as well. Like, again, it took me a couple days to kind of sit with it, but I'm really like on the level that you guys are starting to be on, where like this might be one of the best shows of all time for sure. And again, I don't want to like push the judgment and like, just because it just happened, I want to give it some time to kind of sit with us. But I go back, at least personally, I'm just speaking for myself, I try to think about the great or significant shows that I've been to, and the first things that come to my mind are like WrestleMania 30, or like the first Takeover Brooklyn, or like the MSG show for New Japan and Ring of Honor, the first episode of Dynamite that I went to. I'm thinking of like all these like legendary important shows, and like I feel like this, with not only the card that we saw, but like the retirement of Sting, his last match that he had, and just the way it turned out, like I really want to put it on that level of like, for sure, the best show I've ever been to, and like one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. And that's, yeah, like you said, me being biased for being there. The electricity in that building was just unreal, especially watching that Ospreay and Takeshita match. Like me and Chase, we were just losing it in our seats watching it. And then, having the significance of that Sting match, not only the entrance, which was incredible, but the match itself, which was just insane. And then the post match, which was great. Again, I think I'm on that level. Like I would like to sit with it a little bit longer, but I think I'm on that level where I'm saying like this is for sure one of the best shows I've ever been to. So yeah,
One thing I wanted to add.
Yeah,
one thing I wanted to add. I watched the whole show back late last night because I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't. I haven't really slept in like 2 days. But I watched the whole thing back, and like as great as that crowd was on TV, I'm telling y'all, it is not even like nearly like what like that Sting match. Nobody sat down. Was it like that in y'all section? Did y'all just stand up the whole match?
We couldn't. The way our section was.
Yeah, I mean we're the upper deck, so it's not really cohesive. But there were times that we, for me, during certain matches, I just couldn't help it. Like I don't care who was behind me. Like I had to just do something, react some way. And the Takeshita match, the Ospreay match, their match definitely made me do that. And then Sting, I was just super excited with all the stuff that was going in there. Like I couldn't help it.
Yeah, man. God, I can't believe I was there. But go ahead, Chase.
Sorry, I picked up a virus in North Carolina. Not that virus, but a virus. But the thing I noticed watching it back, especially with headphones on in the airport, is that there were moments where the crowd mics were clipping. And normally you'd be like, oh, what cheap production. But it's mostly because it was so loud in there, the mics couldn't handle it. Especially multiple times during the Ospreay Takeshita, multiple times during Sting Young Bucks. But the reason I said that, Brandon, is because I base everything on feeling, and it just felt, because I know I'm an asshole. I was at Glory by Honor 8, I was at All Out 21, then Full Gear 21, which both were back-to-back all-timers, which I don't know if they can do that with Dynasty like a month later, but I enjoyed this show more. Even if the Sting stuff was removed, I probably would have enjoyed this show more than those other shows I've seen from AEW.
I mean, don't be so sure they can't do it with Dynasty. Okada might be main eventing that show. Like, no, don't be so sure, man.
You might have Wardlow in the main event, so
nah, that'll be on TV. That'll be on TV.
That better be on TV, bro.
Well, I mean, just think about it though. They're gonna resolve that in like 3 weeks, and then set up a new challenger in like 2 weeks. Like
that's fine.
Maybe.
Look, that's fine.
You could just have them both there at the same time.
They spent a lot of time on Wardlow. They've given a lot of attention to this, for better or worse. Like, we'll see how long it lasts.
His first thoughts on this video was to bring up Mike
Wardlow.
and talk about the
show. Well, one thing, what I wanted to say on the show was that there's something to a show like this that is I mean, I know Josh still like thought it was incredible as well, and I thought it was awesome too. But there's something that we'll never get from not being there. Like this show in particular, there's a certain live energy with it being the largest, indoor attendance for AEW ever outside of All In, and with the emotion of what was happening with Sting in that main event, and the first time you see Ospreay and that kind of raw reaction the crowd had to him. There's something there live that I'll never be able to capture. And I'm very envious of that because that's a special moment that you gotta get to carry with you that is kind of kept to the people that were there live, even though obviously those of us that watched on TV still thought it was excellent, as he said, and as I'll say as well. I don't, whether it's this or All Out 2021, I'd have to rewatch that one because I am still a little bit in the moment, like Brandon was saying. Like at the time, I thought that one couldn't be touched, and that one kind of had the magic of Punk not wrestling in 7 years and what that would bring, the excitement, if that would be good or not, and the Danielson thing, which we weren't sure would happen that soon. So it's hard to compare to like an all-time legend retiring. It's like two very different things, very different emotions. So I'd have to rewatch. But I will say, at least all those shows last year that everyone thought was like part of an all-time pay-per-view run, like Revolution and Wrestle Dream and All Out. I mean, this is better than all those shows. Like Dave kind of put it best. Revolution last year won show of the year. And this was like, I don't want to say clearly a better show, but like pretty solidly a better show. And that was
clearly
clearly a better show. So that says a lot because the Ospreay thing took my breath away, like to the point that I will get to it when we go match by match, I guess. But I actually could not absorb anything from that world title match. I was still like in a trance, like in shock from that Ospreay match. And I was texting the chat saying the same thing Marquise said. This is Austin. This is Flair. Roman, whatever the hell you want to use, like this is the guy. Brian Alvarez said the same thing in his review of the show too, because it's not just that he's a better wrestler than everyone else. He's over like crazy. He has an aura to him when he comes to the ring. It's the crowd was so into him without even a true, like imagine you haven't even seen Ospreay in a true like AEW blood feud with like weeks of television building up some grudge that gets you to get even more motivated behind the character. This was purely like an excitement to see him like for the first time. Imagine what it could be when you add like great stories on top of whatever he's going to do in the ring as well. Plus chasing the world title, how that could look like in Wembley. Like there's even more emotion that can be added to what we already saw. And I was truly like, sometimes you just know. Like, and when we saw him, I think when everyone saw him come out, that reaction and everything, it was just crystal clear. Like no one else can do this. No one else can combine like that level of reaction with the crowd with what he's going to do in the ring. I mean, he's going to have the best match on like every pay-per-view for the most part, unless they mess it up with gimmicks or something. Like it seems like that's where it's going to go. So it was breathtaking to see him come in on what's a stacked roster, stacked, and everyone unanimously saying that guy's got to be the guy. That guy's got to be world champion in 4 months. Like it truly, like I could not watch that Joe match. Like I watched it, but I wasn't really watching it. And I actually had to rewatch the match earlier today. That's the only match from the show I've rewatched because I was so shaken. I just couldn't quite get into it. That's how much it took my breath away.
This roster is so crazy that you had like tag teams that are like prominently on TV now on the show. Y'all know I love Jay White. He was on the pre-show and he was right where he needed to be. Like, you know what I mean? This roster is crazy, bro.
It's only gonna get crazier too. That's what's nuts. Is it's only gonna get nuts. It's only gonna get crazier. But yeah, it was the thing. We'll get to it when we get to the Ospreay match because I'm just gonna say that I'm tired of people like bitching about like 1 count kickouts. I'm tired.
Let's talk about it right now. Let's talk about it right now.
Whoa. What? We're not there yet, Marquis.
Whoa, what? All right, okay. All right.
Look, there's a process to this.
I'm the engineer. All right. Sorry I wasn't here last week because y'all don't know how to drive a train. Y'all drive it in circles instead of straightforward. So to begin with, we had the Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus Karen Jarrett's Tupperware Party. Marquis, what'd you think about this match?
Hey, what is your name, bro? That's good. That's good.
Marquis, what'd you think about this match? Boy, Jay White got such a reaction in there, but he's being wasted.
Yeah. I'm sick of it, bro. I'm sick of this. This is the biggest. Like, I'm probably next to his family, probably the biggest fan of this dude you find anywhere. And I'm not worried about how he's being used. He's on TV every week. Even when they have nothing for him to do, they make sure to include him. They even sometimes shoehorn him on TV. He probably shouldn't be on the shows and he be on TV. You know what I'm saying? Not worried about him at all. He came out and next to Sting, Will Ospreay, Swerve. He may have gotten the loudest reaction sans them of anyone. I'm not worried about him at all, man. Like, what are we doing, bro? And the match itself was just fine.
It
was
fine.
just fine.
It was a pre-show match.
It was
Tottenham looked really bad. That's about the only thing.
Oh God, he's terrible.
He's always gonna. I think he's always gonna look bad. I think you just. But I will say, I think that half of the people in this match, I'm ready to like be off TV for a while. I mean, I know we haven't seen
the whole Jarrett game,
and
the acclaim. I'm tired of their claim.
Just break them up. Just break them up. Let Bowens do his own thing.
Yeah.
Let him try to do something. Caster can just be the same person he is now. Just do his raps and just will always be that that level
and get beat
guy.
and get
and
get beat.
That's a fine.
And I don't need Billy Gunn anymore. You know, I'm.
That's true.
The trio has run its course. They're kind of. It's just kind of more of the same for like 2 years. It's just whether it's a breakup, whether it's getting them out of the division, whatever you got to do. They need something new.
Yeah, just do something. I'm with you on that.
The crowd made noise for him. That entrance. I hate to be a WWE person who just likes the entrances and whatnot, but I enjoyed seeing that live.
The
crowd was all into it.
That theme was awesome live.
But to be fair, the entrances are part of the show. They should just not be like.
It shouldn't be that. Like I saw people saying, like, "Oh man, Andrade is awesome. Like they're doing right because he has some goofy entrances. Not all that great. The theme song is not all that great." And just, I don't get that. But yes, I'm with you, Josh. It definitely should be a part of the show.
Yeah, they shouldn't have those belts, and those belts like felt so important at one point, and now they're just kind of just on them.
Well, they also have the only Ring of Honor ones that haven't been updated with the new logos, which makes me think they're just going to unify them at some point.
I think that's what this whole thing is leading to.
Yeah. That should have been there by now. Just get
the interesting thing they should do, though, they shouldn't turn Bullet Club gold. They should turn the Acclaim. That would actually
that's exactly what they should do.
Are they? I have a question. Did they strip the Bullet Club name from them and they just going by Bang Bang Gang?
No, they were
because of that, along with
Bullet
the changing
Club
of the entrance music between all these New Japan people. Like, what's going on? Like, they don't want to use their stuff anymore.
They were introduced as Bullet Club Gold, though. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Anybody else got anything else to say about that match?
No, I don't remember thinking it.
All right, next stop on the train, Willow Stat versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue. This was totally fine as well.
I thought this was surprisingly good.
I actually really liked it. It was this girl in our section that was like obsessed with Sky Blue, and that was weird. But yeah, it was fine, man.
We all love the big seat, man.
What'd you say?
I said we all love the big seat.
Oh yeah.
Big seat Sky Blue.
Oh man, me and my brother-in-law saw. I forgot to tell you this, Jay. We saw Willow Nightingale when we went to get something to eat. She was in line getting something to eat. So, that was cool.
Do you think Sky Blue should change her name since she's with Hart?
Yeah.
To something else.
Oh, I thought you were referencing the other thing.
No.
I don't know the other thing.
Good.
She should change that goofy finisher she has. I don't like that.
Oh yeah, God.
I don't like the fact that it got reversed into the pounce. I thought that was actually really the spot.
Yeah, but she's terrible too. Like I'm sure she's nice. Yeah, no disrespect.
I'm sure she's nice.
I'm sure she's nice, but I
wouldn't say she's terrible. She just needs to be on ROH and get reps there and not on Dynamite and everywhere else getting reps.
Josh, you're too nice, bro.
Can we accelerate this like Willow thing? Like she's like super talented. Like this division gets a lot of criticism.
Here's the problem.
Like just get it going already.
Is that Mercedes gonna have to get her win back?
But
they should go with that feud. That's a perfect feud to do.
Yes.
Right.
Mercedes and Willow.
Like she just needs to be like she needs to have like the pay-per-view matches that the other girls are getting, like on the main show.
Because she's better than most of them.
And she's super over still. It's confusing why, like after that Owen Hart thing, like this division gets so much criticism. They have someone here that solves a lot of their problems on their own roster, that the fans like. Just get to it.
I agree. I think they pushed the wrong people in the women's division. So
we'll get to that
we'll
later.
we'll talk more about one person.
We'll get to that.
All right, so then we get to the pay-per-view proper, where we'll actually talk about things in detail, because it wasn't pre-show. Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage. I thought this was excellent 80s pro wrestling.
And for the best crowd to do it. For the best crowd to do it.
This crowd was so, like, into Garcia.
Do you think he should have audibled, though? Or do you think
maybe
it's okay?
It was the crowd? I think it's okay.
What, as far as Garcia winning?
Yes, Garcia.
No. I thought the finish was fine.
I mean, I don't know.
Get his moment.
During it, I was like, "Hey, man, Danny should win." And then the way it played, I think it's fine as long as Danny does throw him. I'm with it.
Yeah, we talked about this on the preview of the show. Like Tony does this sometimes, where the switch won't, especially when the feud just started, like this one did, and Garcia gets the match by a DQ. That doesn't really set up like him winning the pay-per-view match right away. Like it seems like the start, the finish was dirty enough that they could come back to it, get Edge involved, and get the whole moment right if they want to.
Yeah, Kid did call this last week. He did say that last week. So,
but I think one of the things that helped this match was it wasn't a match where, like, I think people wanted Garcia to win, but they were fine with Christian winning, and they truly didn't know who was going to win. So, like, when you got to that, like, stretch where it, like, you had that one near fall that just about everybody bit on, that was, I'm trying to remember which one it was.
The pile driver, wasn't it?
Yeah, the pile driver. That was insane. I mean, but, you can definitely see that when they pull the trigger, he'll be fine. Though I do wonder if you're getting to the point with the roster where you kind of need to have like guys like Garcia stop going for the titles to some degree, because you're going to have to start divvying up some of these titles to bigger names, because you're going to have this insano top heavy roster.
It's unfortunate, but yeah, you're right. Like you're right. Yeah. 100%.
Like I'm wondering if like for the next 6 months or so, it's a lot of rearranging the titles so that you have like not like all the tippy top guys, but maybe the top 15 guys are the ones that have these titles. And I mean, and that sounds like a lot of guys until you start going down like the top 15 people in this company, and it's like
one thing that this could really benefit, though, if he actually cares, this could really benefit Ring of Honor. Some of the dudes you can't put on TV,
right?
Just throw them on ROH, man. Like get that on TV. I'm sorry, fuck WB Discovery. You need to get that on TV and treat it like something, because now the roster is becoming too big. You know what I mean? Now it's to the point where it really benefits you to have this, but we'll see. We shall see.
Speaking of the talent roster, Chase, in the chat, Beast Coast mentioned, don't forget about the video package about Pat coming back. Oh, so that's another name.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
that. You're going to another name you're going to be adding to the bunch here. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
My brother-in-law, he was funny. He was like, I don't know who that is, because he's just getting back into wrestling. And I was like, yeah, he's been gone so long, you probably don't even know who this is.
You ruined your brother-in-law, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is his first wrestling show like he ever went to, period. And it might be the greatest wrestling show of all time. It's all downhill from here, brother. It's all downhill from here.
It's also like just the last thing I'll say on the roster getting too big thing. It's kind of like what we said last week too, with Tony like not wanting to let Black and Buddy Matthews leave. It's like, it's not bad if we send some guys to another place. Like really, like it's just a space problem at a certain point. Like why keep those guys against their will when you barely have enough TV time to feature all the guys you actually do care about? Like just cut bait.
Great, agreed.
Okay, but yeah, I thought that was a very good opener. Not as good as MJF versus Darby from Full Gear 21. But I was like, yeah, it was a really good match.
What a random comparison.
And then this fucking thing happened. I'm like, oh my god.
Man, oh my god.
I think this match may have over-delivered, and that's saying something. Like, I thought it was going to be great, but this was...
I thought it was going to be really good, and then it started off kind of slow. And then by the end of it, I was like, yo, like you said, maybe just over deliver, like even past my expectations of what it could be. But it's Bryan Danielson. Like, why should I even have these doubts of what this potentially could be? Like,
When him and Ospreay finally have a match.
Oh my god.
Nobody in pro wrestling, like right now, sells better than Eddie Kingston. Nobody. Not a soul. Y'all know how I feel about this man. And even the Sting thing didn't really get to me on an emotional level. This did because, you know, just I've been a fan of this dude since 2006 now, 2005. Whenever I think 05, but it doesn't matter. And like just seeing him just in this moment with the entire crowd behind him, Bryan Danielson shaking his hand, because if y'all don't know, like this is a storyline now, but there was a point in time where there was real heat between those two. You know what I mean? Because you even go back to the Chris Hero thing when Bryan Danielson and Chris Hero were cool, and they took turns pretty much bullying Eddie Kingston. Like, you know, it's stories about all this shit. You know what I mean? And to see them really shake hands, and then that promo afterwards, like when they're in the back getting worked on and taped up, and they're just reconciling like real life like beef that they had. For man, this was different for me, and like there was like a tear rolling down my cheek, and my brother-in-law goes, "You okay?" Like, no, I'm not okay, sir. Like this is why I love this shit, man. This is the reason. And of all the matches on the card, not counting Ospreay and Takeshita, this is the one I was the most into for obvious reasons. Like I love this match, and it's even better watching it on TV.
Yes.
I'm gonna say something crazy. I gave this the full 5. I gave this match the full 5. I love this match.
So I don't think that's. I went 4.5, so I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that crazy. I mean,
this Danielson's like the way he was telling the story with his facials and like the sheer like frustration and horror that this guy wouldn't quit like he thought he would, as he said in the promo after the show. I think that element in particular comes across really well on TV. That maybe you can notice it live, maybe not. I'm not sure, but at least on TV, they zoom in on him. They tell that really clearly throughout the whole match. And he was brilliant in this match. They both.
Nah, I definitely didn't feel that live because now I'm just itching to go back and watch it finally. So yeah, you're definitely selling me on that for sure.
And the way he was like selling the handshake and the resistance to it, and how his little gestures about it, like that's like the magic of a great wrestler. Because there's a lot of other guys that would just like run in, done the shake, and like walked out of the ring. Danielson, like,
I could see this not being maybe as good live, depending on when you were sitting, because there was a lot.
It's better on TV. It's better on
TV. There was a lot of little storytelling going on. You know, the storytelling that doesn't happen in pro wrestling, unless it's, you know, you're cutting a promo. But you know, there was a lot of that, and I think if you, depending on like where you were in a building, you would miss some of that. But yeah, like this, to me, you had two guys who were really great at telling stories in the ring. I think that's one of Eddie Kingston's like biggest like things that's great about him, even when he kind of maybe isn't the best in the ring sometimes. But the story's always there. And then you have, you know, American Dragon, who can just, you know, maybe one of the best storytellers in the ring of all time. This just like, and I still think it over delivered. Like I was expecting, this will be like, you know, great, but not this great.
I also want to address that real quick. I hear a lot of people say, you know, sometimes Eddie falls apart in the ring. When's the last time?
I wouldn't say that, but
a lot of people say that. But when's the last time?
He hasn't in like a year.
It's been a long time. But like y'all know how I feel about that man on the mic. And I was like, if he ever wrestled as great as he is on the mic, he might be one of the best wrestlers in the world. I think he's there now. It's been so long since I've seen an Eddie Kingston match, and I'm like, this match isn't any good. It's been a very long time. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It's been a long time, man.
He's usually a good bet on AEW pay-per-view. Like when he had a great match against Jericho. He had a great match against Ishii that we saw, me, Brandon, and Chase saw live. Like he's like his match with Punk people like he's usually a good bet, I would say. Obviously with Danielson it's easy, but still.
I don't know about easy. I wouldn't want to get chopped like that.
High floor, whatever you want to say.
But they didn't tell as good of a story with the chops as apparently Dom and Walter did.
I caught the highlights. I mean, it looked for a little bit of the 20 seconds I saw, it looked all right.
I gotta give Dom credit. Dom was
Yeah.
selling
I mean, he
shit
took it.
I
like
would say,
that,
yeah, for the
though.
little
took
20-second clip that I saw, I was like, okay, this seems kind of cool.
This is the number 2 belt in the company, right?
What?
The Continental.
The
Well,
Continental
we don't know.
Crown?
It's either
I would
it's
think
either the
that
second or the third. It
it
depends
just
on
seems
like
like
What
the
is
belt-
this Continental Crown? What is it though? Like,
It's the 3 belts.
it's the 3 belts.
belts.
People making this
Okay.
far more confusing than it needs to be. It's the 3 belts.
so it is the 3 belts.
It is the
Yes.
3
Eddie
belts.
Travels. It is the 3 belts. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
just seems like they could put all the top guys that are like not going for the world title. It seems like they'll be involved like for this belt, especially if the Continental Classic is going to be a recurring thing and it's going to be so popular.
I mean, this year should blow last year's out of the water, considering their acquisitions.
We'll see. We'll see who
We'll
he
see.
puts in there. He might not want to put a lot of people in there. He want people to lose. So.
That's gotta
And
lose.
then he might use like talent from other places. Like we might see like some of the CMLL guys in this thing. Who knows?
But then you can't have Penta or Phoenix.
That's
That's
I
fine.
don't care. No disrespect.
Fine.
I love
That's
them
fine.
both. No disrespect, but
That's
no.
fine.
Like I would trade Penta and Phoenix for Mystico and Hechicero in a minute. Like I'm sorry.
Roosh did really well though.
I mean he's no longer affiliated with any Mexican company though, so it's fine. Like
Is it?
at all. It'll be fine. I think
It'll be fine. It'll be
I think that'll be fine. Well, how much?
They got long
How much
memories
heat-
down there, man.
Yeah. How much heat does he have with CML? That's what's gonna
They
come
got
down to.
long memories down there.
I mean, that's why we have this situation now, is because we're on a. Is any like the only people that are in charge that would be from when
Nobody's
all
there
of this
anymore.
started?
Nobody's there anymore.
No, it's Conan and Vampiro. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not even anybody from the
Bloods and
CMLL
Crips. Just pass the beef down. Just pass the beef down. We don't know why we fighting. We have no clue, but you know what? This is what it was supposed to be. So that's all it is.
All right, so I
Oh, and by
guess-
the way, I thought it was going to be really hard for anybody to top this match. When I saw, I was
and-
like,
and-
Little did you know.
and little did you know that what definitely topped it was the All-Star Scramble brought to you by
Shut
Denny's.
your ass up, man.
Oh, shit.
It had
I'm
meat.
messing.
It had your eggers in there. You might be on something. You may be on
Yeah.
something.
Hey,
with that.
no disrespect to Dante Martin though. He was off. I
He
don't
had
know what
he had
was going
a
on.
bad day.
He had a
bad
bad night, bro.
He was bad on collision
Has,
too.
has he had a good day since he came back from ankle destruction?
I mean, the Top Flight had some decent matches
Yeah.
so far.
but he was just, you could tell he just wasn't being like, he wasn't like botching bad. He was just botching.
He botched and he wouldn't slow down. Like, just take a
Right.
second. Collect yourself.
The guy in front of us was like, "Please slow down, Dante."
Yeah.
The botch would like cause him to like speed up and like make it more likely that he would make another
Right.
mistake or hurt himself. It's a vicious cycle.
But this was a scramble match.
I
And
don't
not
remember.
and not
The only thing I remember is Jericho spilling the stuff on the side, just because we had clear view of it. But
And,
it was
and
like-
they spent forever in 2 matches trying to dry it up.
yeah,
And Taz.
the stuff with the heavyweights was I mean, would have been cool if they would have like expanded it to a full match.
Yeah.
But
That's what I thought watching it. I was like, if this had been what it was supposed to be, this would be.
Magnus did nothing
Different.
that like stuck out. At least for me,
Yeah.
he did nothing that stuck out.
You weren't impressed by Ray Phoenix copycat spots?
I
I mean,
and I thought it was weird because he's a prelim guy, and see, it was really weird. But the only thing I remember about this match is not even the match. How loudly everyone sung Judas. That's about all I remember about this match. Yeah, man, it was.
I mean, it was okay.
That's fine. That's
But
fine.
it was like not. It was not a. It was.
Do you have any thoughts on Denny's kid?
No, just that. I guess we're all hoping that Wardlow is the program resolves pretty quickly. I mean, I thought the match was fine.
Warlow did one. Yeah.
I was curious if you guys would have liked it more live, like with all the action and stuff. But it sounds
No.
like you kind of thought the same as we did. Yeah.
I mean, it was
No.
cool.
I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't like I'm not itching to watch it again or.
I wouldn't even call it like a great like it wasn't. There wasn't enough craziness for it to be like a great scramble match. It was just like spot.
It was a good TV scramble match.
We will see a better scramble match during WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
One of these companies is going to put on a better, at least one, like GCW, they're going to put on a better one. Yeah.
Would it have been better if less guys were in there?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
They just done like a 4-way elimination with the big dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just didn't do that. Like,
because 2 of them are hurt.
I don't buy that story. That makes no sense. You knew that, like, I don't buy that. I buy more that Jericho was trying to shoot himself into this legendary pay-per-view. Yeah. So let's do that versus that Keith Lee is not available. That Miro's like hurt. I believe that Jericho's story more than anything. So.
Well, that's possible too.
But at least the meat guys have like a through line amongst all of them that connects them in the match. The rest is like Jericho, Hook, Magnus, and Dante Martin. It's just like,
well, I mean, Hook and
Brian
Cage.
Brian Cage.
But they didn't really do anything, so it's like
watching it back. It was funny that you can tell Jericho laid this out because there's like a moment where him and Hook face off, and he's expecting like this big reaction, and there's just like nothing.
There's something funny did happen during this match. Though every time Hook put on the red rum, the guy in front of me was like, "There it is, the transmission, the Kata Hajime." He was like, "This is the move that choked out 911. It choked out Shane Douglas." I was like, "What are you doing?" That show's hilarious.
We had some smarts behind us. Luckily, they didn't go too crazy. They kind of shut up a little bit later in the show, but I was getting annoyed for sure.
Oh, because he was the dude behind us was like super smarky.
Yeah, and again, I don't mind it, but he was starting to get there, but then he shut up like towards
her footwork's awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Towards the middle of the show, he started to shut up, so I was like, all right, cool.
I can't stand that shit.
Fit into this company moving forward?
Just be a commentator. Just please, just go to that desk.
He's
pretty good at that.
He's good at it, but is that all he's going to want to do?
He had a really good 2022, a bad 2023.
Mm-hmm.
This year's to be determined.
Not starting
out hot start though.
It's not starting out great.
He gets a lot of TV time.
I mean, after you see how well this whole Sting thing did, he might be like, huh.
Let me stick around so I can get one of these. Yeah.
Let me call up my buddy Lance. Anyways. So the Messiah of the Backbreaker came back.
Yes.
Gotta fucking love this match. Fucking love this match, man.
It was.
I feel like I would like it more if I rewatch it.
It's like, yo, you remember Roddy in 2014, 2016 ROH?
That's what we got. That's what we got.
For the Messiah. It was so wild because my brother-in-law Justin, he was like, all I've seen of Roderick Strong is him running a neck brace and being weird. And then he was dropping Orange Cassidy everywhere. He dropped him on that top rope. He was like, "Oh, where this dude been?" I was like, "Brother, we've been watching this dude for like 20 years, man. That other guy, I don't know who the fuck he is, but
I remember when he was doing it in FIP.
Exactly. Him and Eric Stevens. You know what I mean?
The long fights.
Man, that was I don't think it was great, but it was so great to watch him.
It was very, very good.
You know what I mean?
It was very, very good.
I like how they weren't afraid to make it like more of a one-sided match, but it's still like hits all the points they're trying to get across. The story is very, very well told. Cassidy still looks fine. They didn't need to make it like more 50-50. They did it the right way.
Cassidy can be a guy that you can go in and just dominate because he's such a good babyface that it doesn't hurt anything. So, and you needed it. Like Strong needed this. The whole kingdom needed this.
Man. He's back, man. I was like, this is awesome. Every chop.
So to see what they do with the title. Like if you're gonna have like an open challenge where Roddy faces a bunch of dudes. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, I don't think he was gonna hold it for very long, but I definitely want to see what he's gonna do with it while he has it.
He might.
Colorado gonna win this thing. Obviously.
Well, it seems like the Kingdom guys, you're probably not going to see the cracks like in their success until Max comes back, I would imagine. Like, so I don't know how long that's going to be.
Well, they got a pay-per-view.
It's fucking black cloud is looming over what's going on right now.
They got a pay-per-view coming up, so
we'll see. He's going to be fine, Mark.
It's all dependent on when Cole can come back. So
with this like
But
with
the championship is not with them, which is better than anything.
Yes. Yeah,
The
like
championship is not with them. Let them do their thing.
You can do this
And
thing.
I might be more into it because of that, because you're
Right.
not dominating the world championship.
And you're not on TV 5 times a night. And you're like, what are we doing?
I will say, just watching those dynamite, like when I told you guys last week, I'm still watching some of those dynamites from the fall to rewatch the non-continental classic stuff. Let me tell you, for all the online criticism of MJF, that guy was still crazy over every week. Every week, he is still the most popular. Like,
well, the thing is, like once he got to the
best wrestlers on earth.
Once you got to the fall, though, they kind of dropped the silliness.
A little, yeah.
They dropped a lot of the silliness. It was a little bit more, an actual thing. I think that helped. I think the real problem is that people were just like, he was still over, but I don't think he was over with the right people. I think that was part of the problem too, because you could see that's when the crowd started being like, I don't know.
The wrong people thought AEW had a good year in 2023. That's all you need to know. Motherfuckers like Eric Bischoff. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
He's very good at getting people to care about him. I think even with all these guys coming in, I think he's going to find a role.
Oh,
and I think always
he'll be fine.
He's one of the best on earth, man.
The plan for Cole was always for him to come back and want to kill Cole. It'd be a more serious feud. That was always going to be the case, even before the backlash.
It just needs to be a super serious feud. It's got to be like a blood feud. It can't be a let's do a.
You were my friend and you did this thing.
Right.
No,
I'm
going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Right.
You were the one guy I trusted. And then
he needs to be Dusty, and they need to be the Horsemen as close as you can get to that, and you need to do that. That's what you need to do. So
we shall see.
This was a good night.
This was very good, though. This was another one that I was kind of wondering like what we were going to get. This was very good. I've heard some people say I thought it was not great, but it was almost there. It was.
Then in Greensboro, North Carolina, we got a wrestling.
Oh,
match.
we got a
match.
Great match. Fucking great match.
What do you?
I want to go back. I don't need to watch this again, but I want to go back and watch it again. This match.
Oh my god, this is so great, bro. This is so great.
Oh, what did you make the stink face about?
Because this match was amazing. This was 1986 fucking Southern. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tag
Express. Fucking amazing, man.
Road Warriors never had a match this good though.
not there. Probably maybe in Japan, but not there. I mean,
just nasty, just dudes, just being just tough.
Dudes.
Man, I love this shit, man. Being dudes, man.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Dax
how did he
hit that damn thing so hard? Because I
was,
tried to watch it back.
Yeah.
If you watch him, like when he comes out for Sting, he's got these two big black bruises on his head in the shape of diamonds. So it's like, okay. Because Brandon and I during the show were like, did he kick? But like when he came out for Sting, he had like, you know, those bruises that were in the shape of the diamond plate. So it's like, okay, he didn't gig. Why the fuck did he fall down that hard? I don't. It was great. It was a step above what they were doing on TV as well, which is hard to do.
Already great.
Which is already really great.
Finish was awesome.
That Doomsday freaking uppercut was amazing. That was amazing.
The question I have is
Springboard Doomsday uppercut.
Do you think these two rematch in the semifinals or the finals?
This is the finals.
It's finals. The guy was the finals.
So which one of them is taking out the Bucks?
I think
FTR.
FTR. I bet they do FTR and Bucks on TV for once.
Well,
they did it on TV.
Yeah, when FTR won.
The second one.
Oh yeah,
that's one they had. In my opinion.
Yeah, that was better than the pay-per-view. Well,
I don't know, man.
I've never gone back and watched that pay-per-view match, but I remember
which one.
Yeah, I really like the first one, the one with the pandemic.
The Full Gear 2020. I enjoyed that match a lot. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we'll have to see like how they do the brackets and stuff for whatever this tournament's going to be. Because I mean,
I just hope they put it out tomorrow because I don't want to hear fucking podcast talk for weeks about where's the brackets.
Yeah, that's true. As great as this match was, though, I still think they got a better one in them, bro. Like this shit was. I feel like they were holding shit back, man.
Well, I know like we said last week that they were building towards like a street fighter or gimmick match. They did the regular match, and we all said we preferred that. And we all thought it would be make for a better match. And I think that was true. But I do think after this match, I actually do think there's a gimmick match we can have. Yeah, that I think would be, but it would be different than these other gimmick matches you have because these guys have an intensity that the other guys in the roster don't have. Much like how FTR and the Briscoes can do a chain match, which is very different, and it's better than all the other matches they had. I think with them in particular, I think a gimmick match would be really special, like really, really special.
And we also talk about the variety on this goddamn show. They had a match for literally every type of wrestling fan. Sports entertainment wackiness with Christian and Daniel Garcia. You had
good sports entertainment. Good entertainment.
Good. You had a territory 80s inspired tag match with this one. You had a love letter to Kings Road and All Japan with Kingston and fucking Bryan Danielson. You had crazy over the top indie-rific flippy dudes with Will and Takeshita. Then you had a wild brawl in the main event. You had a fucking GCW match in the main event.
On that note, Markeem, who was Tony Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo for?
I went to the bathroom. I ain't gonna hold you.
You know who it was for? You know who it was for? The people that
stopwatch.
Yeah, stopwatch, and the people that fucking take notes and the quota of how many women.
I tell you what, Chase can validate. I kind of popped a little bit when that Tony Storm old theme music hit. I was
like, the whole building did.
And then it went straight to Randy Orton right when that other song.
And then I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I can't talk about this match. I didn't see it.
This was okay.
I thought the finish was really, really flat.
I thought
that live and then rewatching it, I thought it was even more flat.
The thing is this is not the match. Like, I think people, like, I know what I was hoping. I was hoping that we would get some seriousness, even with all the goofiness, and we didn't get that. So,
especially with them having a past and being linked and knowing each other for years and years, I thought we'd get something.
The crowd likes Tony more, and Tony's like especially heelish in this match, like more.
This crowd didn't like Tony.
Yeah, this crowd didn't give a fuck about Tony Storm.
It was just, I mean, they didn't care about Deonna either. Like,
I don't think
the fact that they put her with Tony, I don't think it's helped her at all.
Yeah,
coming in.
I thought I wouldn't say it was bad, but I thought it was pretty flat. Like,
it was okay.
The main thing I don't understand is why this gimmick wrestling wise isn't just a rip off of Matt Classic. She kind of halfway does it, but it's
not even that.
She doesn't go all the way with it. That's true.
No,
that's a good point.
But anyways, this was like a 2.5-star match. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? 9 billion stars. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. Holy shit!
So the first thing I noticed, first thing I noticed is that they have edited Will Ospreay's theme song from what it normally is. But when I heard it in real time, I was like, "What the hell are they doing?" But it makes sense because they want the crowds to start chanting Ospreay. So to get to that part earlier, it makes sense. And I think it's going to get over. Like, I think he'll have to do the point thing for a couple weeks, but eventually crowds are going to start picking up like, hey, this is the part when we start chanting Will Ospreay.
Yeah, because one thing I did notice when he first did it, it was like, it was loud, but it wasn't a whole bunch of people. He started to point, and it got louder and louder. I did notice that, yeah. Because in my section, I was the only person that did it, and then more people did. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, y'all may
so what was your all favorite spot in this match? Mine was when he went for the Oscoder and he got caught and did the Blue Thunder Bomb. Oh my God! I think I jumped up and spun around when this happened. There was some part in this match where I jumped up and spun around. This is better than that Young Bucks Lucha Bros cage match, Josh. I'm sorry.
I'm sure it probably is.
The kick out at one, man.
This is like legitimately like I'm watching this and I'm like. It was probably right before they got to the 91. I was like, this is insane. And then they did that, and I'm like, fuck, I'm done. This is like, and I'm like, this. I feel sorry for the next two matches because you ain't.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I think the dopest thing about this though is that there were a lot of people there. There are a lot of people because a large majority. Well, I wouldn't say a majority, but a large chunk of this crowd literally just came to the show for Sting, and this is like a lot of people's introduction to both of these dudes, and you can kind of tell the way like some people were reacting, because some people didn't know what was coming when they were setting up some of the spots, and then you just hear this crowd go crazy. It was amazing, man. It was legit. This guy that we were sitting next to, it was him and his friend, and the friend flat out said, "I don't know anything about pro wrestling. I came with him because this is my best friend. He needed someone to come with him." And then while we were leaving, he was like, "Pro wrestling is the greatest thing I've ever seen." He said he didn't know anything about, because he was asking me questions. Like he was like, "Yeah, he said this. I wanted to know what you thought," like stuff like that. But yeah, that was that match, man. That match. Oh my god,
Dave did a good job, and Brian, when they reviewed the match, kind of breaking down how Ospreay's like execution of very simple moves comes across so great and so devastating, just because he's so big and fluid and fast, that the timing of it makes it look brilliant. And I want to give Takeshita his flowers too, because obviously Ospreay is the story of the weekend, but aside from Sting, but Takeshita was so goddamn good in this match. And he has an ability with his size and his speed combination that he has that same trait with Ospreay, that he's so explosive, simple moves he hits, the impact is magnified. And I think when you put both these guys together, that being their mutual strength, I think that's why it was so magical and why you got something really, really unique. I mean, this is about as good as a debut as you can do. I don't know how it could be much better.
And I think you look at this roster, he threw the gauntlet down. He was like, all right, let's go. And there's dudes on that roster that are gonna be like, okay, let's go. And it's gonna be. I think we're gonna see some crazy shit this year.
Like the kid brought up Takeshita, and it's so funny. Like I was a big fan of DDT. I was sick of him. I was like, I'm tired of this guy. Like he is overpushed, and he is like he's always the champion. He was boring, but like now I'm like that dude, like the dude he was then, just like as like in terms of charisma now, because before he didn't have charisma at all. And like now, just like physical charisma that he has, it's hard to believe like that is the same dude that I got fucking sick of in 2018. It's so crazy, man. He is amazing. He is amazing. Everybody's talking about Ospreay, but Takeshita was right with him, bro.
The greatest Blue Thunder Bomber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
The Brainbuster, the El Generico Brainbuster, the top rope, the top turnbuckle was just nuts.
That was the botch that actually worked better. Yeah,
definitely.
Fucked Will's back up something fierce.
Oof.
Live, I did not notice that.
Yeah, that was great.
It was immediate.
Yeah.
Now can we talk? Now can we talk about the kick out at one section? Because I was waiting.
Yeah.
Yes, we're on that match.
If you see that, and you instantly go, man, this would be a lot better. This would come off a lot better if they actually sold what happened. My answer to you is, do you not hear the 16,000 people losing their mind? If your first instinct is to go, this would come off better. if this would come off better and more believable if they did this, and this, you don't need to watch this anymore. And you should never watch this style of pro wrestling at all, because you will never like it. Because that what they did in that moment was the perfect spot to do all of that. These are two geniuses that know better than you, sir, sitting on your couch, that's never stepped in a ring. I'm gonna be that guy. These are two geniuses that have been doing it way longer than you, and way longer than you ever would, at a level higher than you ever will. Listen to this crowd. You do not know better than the greatest wrestler of our generation. And we're gonna have some real conversations about Will in like 5 or 10 years. Is he the best to ever do this shit? You know what I mean? And then you got another dude who is every bit as good as this same guy. They know what they're doing. Shut the fuck up.
We heard the same shit when they did it during the Joe and Hook match, and that added so much to that match, that spot, and it was for different reasons too. Like in that, it was very much like, oh wow, now is Hook gonna like Hulk up? And this was not that. This was different. This match, it was different. So
Ace brought up a good point in the chat. He was like, this crowd went crazy, for that one count in Crockett country. the place
Right.
where motherfuckers didn't do moves. You know what I mean?
Actually,
It was a moves match that had everybody going crazy. Like, come on, man.
And to your point, Marquine, these critics can have it both ways, because a common criticism for the show as a whole, the attendance was, well, this isn't really full AEW fans. These are people coming in to see Sting. These are people coming in like for that area. But those same people that are not the AEW fans, quote unquote, were going insane for the match and for the spot. So you can't say it's not a real AEW crowd and then say their shit doesn't work with most fans. I'm sorry.
Especially after
the casual fan. This doesn't appeal to the casual fan.
especially after watching like these
Right.
WWE shows and these long lulls you watching these where the fans are just there. That was not on this show. So
Go
I
ahead,
don't-
Brandon.
I don't understand how they, people are bringing up, oh man, there's like 55 minutes, an hour between bell to bell action, but you have this goofy, who has the talk show? Is it Theory? Theory has a talk show. Grayson Waller, yeah, his talk show.
Theory was
And
out
they're-
there too. I mean,
And they're just like, oh, like it doesn't matter. You can see that the crowd here in Australia and loved it. But then, like in Marquinhos, what he says is like these people are going insane with this state-of-the-art wrestling where they're kicking out at one. The crowd is clearly loving it, but you're complaining about it? Like, how can you say one and not the other? I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
It's hurting the business.
bad faith. Bad faith.
That's what it is, bro. That's what. Look, man. You can enjoy your stupid ass fucking talk show for 55 minutes. If I get nothing from it, and you're well within your right to, because like, look, I'm meaner to the people than I am to the product now, to the WWE, because the product, my issue with that product was always they would do stuff and it didn't matter what their fan base wanted. That was always my issue. Now I can't say that anymore. I'm meaner to these people that are hypocrites now than the actual product. Like, y'all can like that, that's fine. Let us have this. Like, leave us the fuck alone. Let us have this, bro. Just stay over there with your 55-minute segments on pay-per-views, by the way. You know what I mean? Fucking special shows.
40 minutes on SmackDown.
You know what I mean? Just do that. Just
40
stay over
minutes.
there with that.
40
Leave us
minutes
alone,
on
man.
SmackDown.
Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. We're gonna talk about Darby Allin too, but Jesus Christ.
Well, whatever.
This match was great. This match was
awesome.
yeah.
This is a must see. Like,
Will Ospreay continues to have the best match in everybody's company. Even when he signed
now
to a
with
big
his
time
company.
company, at his company, he's had the best match. Just insane.
Gonna evaluate match of the year without him, like Dave said, because all the top contenders are going to include him. You have no chance to win the award if you don't wrestle Ospreay. It's just that's how it is. He runs wrestling right now.
Okay. So, Brandon and I couldn't comment on this live because someone in our section had a seizure.
I'm not
And
laughing
we
at
were-
that. I
we
think it's
were-
unfortunate.
Shit was crazy.
We were escorted from our seats, so I didn't really see this till I rewatched it from Fight. But I fucking love the finish of this match. I think it's brilliant because you can see Hangman looking up. He sees Swerve trying to crawl in to break it up, and he taps. That shit is so fucking brilliant.
That's how the match. I still don't know how the match ended. So
it's
What you got to say, kid?
So very clearly, like me and Alex Khalil, good friend on Twitter, he brought this up before the show.
Oh, boy.
It was great fan, and when we were watching the countdown show, he made a point, and I did too. Like the whole countdown show, the whole story they're telling is Paige wants Swerve to lose more than he wants to win, very clearly. And it's like we were discussing before the show, how do you work that into the finish? Like how can you execute that well? And yes, the idea is brilliant. Like obviously, it's what they had to do. You're kind of teasing. The commentators also, if you watch on the broadcast, they sell it really hard. Like, did Paige actually tap out, or was he just trying to prevent Swerve from winning? I thought, like, and I just rewatched this match today, like I said earlier, because I couldn't really absorb it live, still in the trance from Ospreay. I thought it could have been executed a little bit better. I think it's not immediately obvious that like Swerve is in Paige's view. I think they imply it strongly. I think where they're positioned in the ring, you can't quite tell that. And
because of the camera. I agree. I agree.
And I kind of
I
like Alex's idea that Paige would be in the choke Swerve is going for the stomp, and that's when you see Paige tap out right before Swerve does the stomp, because you can more clearly tell the story. Paige realizes Swerve is going to save him or possibly win the title, and so he's tapping to prevent that. And they tried to do that same thing with the finish they did, but I just, based on the camera angle, I thought it could have been a little bit better. But still a good match.
To me, the way the commentators hit it, I think the ambiguity was intentional. But
maybe
the more blatant thing would be like, because Joe's back was to Swerve, so Hangman had to turn his head and look, which is what you see happen. But if he was the other way and Hangman was facing Swerve, would have been more obvious, would have been less ambiguous. But it's like, do you want the ambiguity in your wrestling, or do you want it to be plain?
You want the story to be, because this is a story heavy. This was a story heavy match, which I kind of liked after the Ospreay match, because it's like, how are you gonna like follow that? I think because this was so story heavy, that first maybe 5-7 minutes or so, that everyone was kind of really down. I think because it was story heavy, it let you get back into it. At least you watch online. I mean, I'm a big Joe Mark, so I was gonna be into this match anyways. But I thought the story that was told and the way they told it, and I think everybody kind of did exactly what they needed to be. I think, like, I was really kind of like, do we need to do a 3-way? But the story did call for a 3-way. This is one of those few times where the story called for a 3-way. And I felt like everyone did exactly what they were supposed to do. I think everyone came out of it better for it. I was kind of worried about how, like, would Swerve come out better? I think he came out better for it. You still want him to be champion, but you can see that, he's got to deal with this other thing first. Joe still looked like a fucking $1,000,000. I wouldn't call this great, but I thought this was another match that was just very, very, very good, borderlining on great. So,
you know what? Random commenter actually brought an idea. Are these the two that they bring back the exploding death match for?
Maybe.
Sure, Mark King will love that.
You see, I'd be for that. I would be for it.
In Vegas,
do it outside though. Do it outside. Open.
You got to do it outside.
You got to do it outside, man. Yeah, man.
Like
but
a special dailies match.
Main event of the show.
Well,
too.
they very clearly, the feud is continuing, but they already had a Texas Death Match, which traditionally in AEW is the feud ender. So,
right.
How you one up that? I guess.
I mean, maybe the dog collar. Sure. Maybe dog collar.
That's true. Yeah.
I thought Paige beating up the refs was a great touch. Really got into each referee, and the commentator selling that could be a suspendable offense. Very nicely done. To really add on to his like.
Man, it was so crazy. The entire crowd booing Hangman Page though. That was so weird.
In North Carolina,
it was such a weird feeling, man. Oh man, one-on-one blood and guts. I don't know about that.
That's too.
That's too complicated.
Yeah,
too complicated.
Do you still give with this Ospreay thing now? Because they're still selling that Swerve is going to win the title.
I like what Sean Cedar said. I'm just reading the comments now because I'm thinking Cage of Death. Cage of Death.
There you go. That's something they haven't done.
How do you keep Swerve hot in the chase for the title without it getting in the way of Ospreay at Wembley?
I think this is what I think. I think you have Ospreay win at. You just let Ospreay go, and you let Ospreay win at Wembley, and then I think you have Swerve beat Ospreay.
Be the one to beat
Ospreay. That makes Swerve.
That's a while to make the fans wait though.
You can't just beat Ospreay.
You can't.
That's why it's up to Tony Khan to keep Swerve high. I'm with that, Josh. You got to.
But I think you do this feud, and then I think you maybe you have, depending on when they do the Owen this year, because usually, the end of that is Double or Nothing. Maybe you have him come up just short at Double or Nothing versus either Ospreay. Maybe you have Ospreay beat him at Double or Nothing, and then to get the match at Wembley, and then Danielson is the guy that beats Joe at Double or Nothing, and that sets up Ospreay and Danielson, and then
he's not going to put a belt on himself. He's not going to do it.
But then he's just going to drop it, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, but it's gonna take a lot of convincing. Danielson, he just want to lose. He wants to lose all the time.
But he does. Then he loses. Then he loses to Osprey. He only has it for like 2-3 months, and then loses to Osprey. It'll be fine.
I don't know. I need my Joe Okada business to happen. Stop all your Danielson nonsense.
Well,
Okada.
You can still do Okada.
Danielson nonsense.
You can still do Okada. You can do Okada at Destiny.
How do you feel about that show? Destiny, new show, new pay per
You
view.
mean Dynasty?
Dynasty.
Whatever it is.
Dynasty.
Whatever it is. We'll see. We'll see. This will be the first. I think this will be the first chance we get to see if Tony can book a kind of in between pay per view that isn't, what.
This seems like Revolution seems like it's going to. I think Kid even mentioned it. This seems like it's going to break 200 as far as the buy rate. Especially with all the issues that people were having in regards to like buying the show and everything. Seems like it's going to be one of the bigger ones.
Man, would it be crazy? It's the highest bought pay per view in AEW history.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Man,
Y'all said that Hard to Kill wasn't going to beat the Omega pay per
You're
view,
right.
and it did.
We did. You're right. We did.
So,
because nostalgia is bullshit, and people falsely thought TNA was fun back in the day.
Facts.
Horrible. I will say the only thing I don't want for Swerve is Swerve wins the title. He becomes the first black champion in AEW history, like he keeps mentioning, and then has the shortest title reign in AEW history.
Yeah,
too.
see, that's why I'm saying you gotta wait. That's why you gotta wait.
You mean they signed Brock Lesnar? You mean they signed Brock Lesnar?
Not Brock Lesnar.
Hey man, he had the belt for like 6 months. He had the belt for like 6 months. Like,
oh man.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting because guys in AEW, like, it's not the same with Wardlow. Wardlow's not the talent that Swerve is, but you don't want that situation where the momentum.
No, but I think that's why I'm saying I think you have to wait, and then I think you have Swerve beat Osprey, and then you can have Swerve at least have 6 months with the belt. I
think the best way to do that is to just almost like this Hangman thing, keep coming up with things to keep him away from the title. Like, you know what I mean? Throw another, maybe he conquers Hangman, but let's say Nana and the Embassy turned on him and it's like a new crown jewel or something like that. You know what I mean? Just something like that. Find ways to keep him high. You know what I mean? So,
he turned down using the crown in the match. They kind of started him distancing from Nana a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like Nana's got to stay with the act, though, because that's when he started getting hot.
So maybe he just convinces Nana.
Also true.
But yes, it was a very good story match, and then we followed that up with Deathmatch Steve. I saw this tweet that cracked me up about it, that the two wrestlers to pull panes of glass out from under the ring in AEW, Nick Gage and Sting. And I was okay during the beginning of this match until you texted me, Ricky, and then I lost it.
Yeah, you did.
I was gone for about a minute, and then I came back.
You collected yourself, though.
Yeah.
This is the greatest retirement match in history. I don't care what anybody else says.
No, there's nothing. This is the bar. This is the bar now.
Having the Suns come out.
Another 5.
The video package. First of all, the video package was great. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any WCW clips. We didn't get any TNA clips.
Apparently they did not ask either company. So
what?
Okay,
all right. I don't know. Maybe they want to do that. So yeah.
I
feel like
I don't believe they didn't ask the WWE, but okay, whatever.
Why wouldn't you want to get in the good graces of pro wrestling fans by giving them some footage to be able to show during this? Like, did you see did you see the embrace that people had over the last day? Where like, oh man, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee talked about Sting's retirement. Imagine if they would have given them some footage. People like us would have been like, screw the WWE, but hey, man, you got to give it to them. They gave them some footage to be like. I think all of us would have been saying that. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So the fact that,
I felt like the only thing missing from the video package was that Starrcade intro. That was that was the only thing that was missing from that.
Are you talking about the little girl reading the thing?
Yes, that wasn't a girl. That was his son.
Oh,
It was seriously.
Yeah, that was his son.
Hmm.
It was one of his
Who read
sons.
the
I don't know.
Starcade entrance?
yo, Garrett, Steve Jr. could be in this business. You see how far he was jumping in high on them stinger splashes.
Hey, that dude's got strong genes. That's all I'm gonna say.
They both do.
I like the fact that they came out to help set up the match.
Right.
Like it wasn't Sting and Darby having to set up all these spots. Like they got those guys come out there to set everything up. I think that helped the match a lot.
And then they kick their ass, Dad, and then he left.
And
That was perfect. That was perfect, man.
because the Bucks are so good, then you still got to set up this dynamic that the Bucks had this heel advantage at the end with Darby being out. They're taking out Ric Flair. They're taking out Steamboat.
Dead.
Hey, can we stop? Can we stop with the bullshit with the Young Bucks? The Young Bucks are one of the greatest tag teams to ever live. I am tired of this shit. So unselfish. That whole match was them getting their asses whooped. For 20 minutes. They had like 4
immediately. There was no stoppage. Immediately.
Their bumping was incredible.
The whole
they were flip bumping all over the place.
I don't care if you like CM Punk. I don't care if you dislike their matches, but you gotta hand it to them. That is one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I'm sick of this shit. Man.
They're storytellers too. Like this notion that they're not is insane. They're storytellers, like at the highest story.
Amazing storytellers, man.
Did you guys notice the Darby? Like, at least this is another thing on TV when Darby goes through the glass and the camera zooms in and you just see all his pores in his back.
Oh yeah, I saw on the screen.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And somehow he only got 12 stitches.
Because he only had one like actual cut. The rest were just like little nips from the glass. He got incredibly lucky, man. I bet the cut came from the chair, not the glass. When he hit the, that's what I'm guessing. I bet
it was a cool visual though. The fact that it just, like you said, little dots, and then after a couple seconds, just like his whole back, like good gracious, man.
Camera focused on it. You know, they don't cut away and then come back.
It was unprofessional, guys. It was unprofessional. Glass flew into the crowd. And Jim Cornette had a point when he called AEW an outlaw mud show because
those people, if you have an issue, you can take it up with the company, sue them. Like you have the option to be able to do that. Why am I, as a fan, worried about the people in the front row? I don't care what lands on West Side Gun. West Side Gun, you know the issue that you're taking. I don't have
rights. I'm a person in the front row.
There are like people on social media saying, "Oh yeah, I was there, man. I tried to get as much glass as I could." They were.
I don't care. You can do what you can. You do whatever you feel is necessary. If you feel like you need to say something to the company about glass flying at you, go for it. Like you have the right to do that. Why am I going to be worried about? Why am I Dave Scherer worried about what the next fan who's there? Like I don't care.
Well, not even that. But then you have the people that were like, "Oh, look how dangerous this is," and I'm like.
Have you seen Darby Allin? Have you seen Darby Allin?
That was safer than the bullshit that in WWE when people are trying to get hardway fucking blood.
Oh God.
It's safer than when Brock. Not even it's Brock doing the shit to Orton like this.
These sons of bitches who go, oh, this shit pissed me off. These sons of bitches that go, you don't have to take risks like this. You just tell stories other ways. The attitude era, where every week motherfuckers was taking risks like this. What are we doing? How can you say that when Mick Foley did something crazy every week? And I love Mick. How can you say that when every week someone was either getting hit by a car or it was blood every fucking week on Raw? Like, what are we doing, bro? The attitude era was that shit every week. What are you complaining about? The CTE era, absolutely.
I don't love stunts in wrestling personally. Like it was a little bit too much at times for me, but it's their decision. This is what they want to do. And Darby Allin, who somebody put on Twitter today, one of the least injured people on the AEW roster. He's always making his matches and everything like that. Like, why am I going to be concerned?
He does crazier shit in the videos that he does.
The man is about to climb out Everest. He could die. We might have seen the last match of Darby Allin.
Jay White in 2 weeks. So
Jay White, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know.
How was the post show? Because the only, not a critique, because I think everyone that was an AEW fan that was watching was understanding. But like pay-per-view cuts off, Like right when
Well, I have a thing. I think I get people wanted like the whole thing, but I get doing it and then putting it on YouTube. I get that too. I think that was a good thing. So what?
Oh, that was amazing. The
Where'd
post
you
show
put
was amazing.
Oh yeah.
The roster coming out. The roster coming out started to get me like because
Jax was standing there by himself, clapping, and then everybody else started to come out.
It was like heels and faces. Like it didn't even matter. Like
Kobe even came out with his concerto situation.
Yeah. He was in his street clothes.
He was in the back.
And then if you notice, like Darby Allin was like, he dropped his knees, and then who comes to like talk to him?
Swerve
Strickland. If you know the history with them, like bro, I was like, this is awesome. This is why I love this shit, man. This is why. And then we didn't even talk about Sting coming out to Seek and Destroy. We didn't even talk about it.
This old WCW music. What's Seek and Destroy?
I hate you so much.
I hate you. I hate you.
Brian Alvarez did that. It was
seriously?
Seriously? Yeah, he called it his whole WCW music.
How do you not?
Because he's in the bubble. He's in the bubble. He's that deep in the bubble.
Kid mush brain.
And then the whole crowd sung it. That was amazing, bro. That was amazing.
I sung along with that. I didn't sing along with that other fucking song.
And the finish.
Oh, Judas.
Yeah. I think they did. I was on the show last week, kind of saying I thought the Bucks would win. That's how they were like setting.
I did too, but then I slept on it, and I was like, he should fucking win.
Well, in the way, and especially the way, like the whole spectacle of it all, and especially when the Suns come out like, dressed like that, you kind of know where it's going, and they couldn't have done a better job. It doesn't feel like they missed something. It feels like they had a great story with the Bucks being the final boss in his retirement, and they sent him out the right way. And it's, I think, equity that they may carry for years to come when other legends maybe want to come to AEW and maybe not get the same treatment because he was there for 3 years, but know that you'll be treated respectfully in your latter days. Kind of like how Edge is trying to create that.
Instead of getting in a shit match with Triple H.
Oh, I thought you were talking about being retired by Baron Corbin.
No,
Jesus Christ, man. Fucking, this how you treat Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, like, bro, what the? You know what else I hated? I hate people. Everyone, most smart people are going. You say what you want about AEW, but they did right by Sting. They gave him a great send off. They got people defending the WWE send off for him. Like, oh, he got hurt. They couldn't control that. He also lost to Triple H with the only reason they did that so.
This is what it's like, Sting. Over 70,000 at WrestleMania. Fuck off.
Jesus, man. Oh my God.
They on the count. Highly recommend the countdown for those who haven't watched it. They do a really good job. Like the whole stuff.
That was good.
And I think they did a great job pointing out that, and this is, I guess, why I was okay with Sting retiring with a win. This whole Sting thing has helped Darby a lot. And so that equity, like Darby does kind of carry with him, this whole run with Sting over 2 years, it does benefit him going forward too.
And it's going to be interesting just to see how he moves forward without Sting as the highlighted person in that group. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
Or the fact that you're going to have to do something with him. You can't just have him in Sting land from, so.
That's going to be up to Tony to figure out what, how to progress Darby past this.
And then that's what happened. Sting never lost a match, but elevated everybody he worked with. That's why wins and losses don't really matter in this stupid thing we love. Like it does, but it does.
It does, but you have to do it the right way so that the loss does two things at the same time, elevates two people at the same time, and you don't get enough of that. So
Daniel Garcia has lost a ton of matches.
Yes.
And he feels hotter than he's ever felt in this goddamn company.
And that did you see the promo he cut on Collision?
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. So
I'm excited to see where AEW progressed past this. Obviously, the potential of Okada's coming in. Mercedes will be here in 2 weeks. I'm very excited to see where things progress.
What is Okada's first feud? I know Chase wants to do.
I want it to be Joe too. I think that's the.
You just said you wanted Danielson.
Orange Cassidy.
No, I said you do Okada first. You have Okada at the next pay-per-view. And then you do
Okada's too big for St. Louis.
Also, you're gonna have
Damn.
Okada lose.
Just
You never
bury
found-
I would have
Lewis. That's
I would
crazy.
have I would have him lose and then have Joe and
Who gives a
have
fuck
Joe
about
and
Nelly?
that's a big like that's a big match. Joe and Danielson at Double or Nothing. You can have them both go at each other.
Yeah, I would love. I like that idea too. I would love to catch that. I would love that. I would love, especially because that's something that look. I got to give Tony Khan that. If he does that, that's for me because that's something they just couldn't do in Japan because Takeshita was the guy in DDT, Okada was the guy. That would be so awesome, bro. Oh, come on, Tony.
AEW's
You a
gotta
nerd?
run
Do
a
it,
Japan
do
show
it, Tony.
soon. They still gotta run a Japan show soon.
Yeah, I'm
They
sure they
still-
will. I mean,
Oh, man.
Tony said he wants to. So
Hopefully, you kind of get also to that late fall 2021 era of Dynamite, where even on Dynamite, you would get like pay-per-view quality main events just because talent was overwhelming and every CM Punk and Bryan Danielson match was a big deal. Like the whole Bryan Danielson Adam Page feud happened on TV. And
Super Elite, Bryan Danielson, and it was
like
Adam Cole showing. I mean, Adam Page showing up. Yeah,
you can't just wait for pay-per-views for all these guys. You have too many top guys, too many important matches to be done. Like have filler Dynamites,
well, we're gonna have
and
this.
Collision.
We're gonna have this tag team tournament. So depending on how they do it, like
LAX for the win. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
We're just
Mike Santana's going on his own. Oh, all the best for him. I ain't hating him, man. All the best for him, but you're not going to survive as a single guy in this environment.
But
I don't know what he expected. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Breaking up.
Yeah, maybe you just say he's either right on the wall. Like, dude, there's no way you can break out as a singles in this environment. So he's got to go do his own thing.
Gotta go to another company.
But yep, we're asking a lot of questions that we don't have the answers to. But maybe we will have them in about
2 weeks. Excuse me?